All right, welcome back to All In with Nate. As you see, I got Armand and Devon back with me again. We have finally made it to the end of our mock draft. Finally, we're down to two because we were going to, as you all saw on Thursday, we were just going to cover three teams. But if you haven't been paying attention, the Baltimore Ravens actually have two first-round picks now because the Chiefs acquired Orlando Brown Jr. from the Baltimore Ravens. So they're no longer in the first round. So it makes no sense to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs until the day that they are on the board in the second round. So let these guys introduce themselves again. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Armand, you want to go first?
Hey, thanks, man. I'm glad to be back to discuss the NFL draft. My name is Armand. I'm a big Cleveland Browns fan, but I'm also, a good fan of football. So I'm just glad to be here to discuss some things with you all.
Yeah, my name is Devon Brown. As y'all know, I'm a big Washington football team fan. Everybody gets on me for us not having a team name or whatever, but we're consistent last season division champs, so that's all that matters to me. As I said before, I'm a big football fan. Love the game. Love talking about it. Talk about it for days.
All right, we got our other special guest on his Shaq. What's going on, man?
Going on, buddy? What's up, fellas?
All right, we are back to talk about again, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about the Bills, the Bucks, and Armand's going to give us, if you were on our Instagram last year, Armand did a full first round mock draft. So we're going to go over that again this year, but he's only doing the mock draft because I didn't get a chance to do it this year, but he did a solid job. So before we get into the conversation, let's go into the first team we plan on talking about today, and that are the Buffalo Bills. Entering the draft board at number 30, we have the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills had an outstanding 2020 season, posting a 13-3 record, which finished second best in the AFC, only behind the Kansas City Chiefs. They had the second best offense in the league with over 500 points in the regular season. Number 2 in yards, number 1 in first downs. They were a top 10 passing team. They were middle of the pack in rushing the ball as well, and they had a respectable defense. After winning 2 playoff games against the Colts and the Ravens, their season unfortunately came to an end in the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now coming into 2021, Josh Allen, who had a career high 37 touchdowns and over 4,500 yards passing, will look to bring that loaded offense with Stephon Diggs and company back to try to be one step closer to becoming a true threat to dethrone the defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs in the 2021 season. Here is our preview of what the Bills need in the 2021 NFL Draft. All right. As we mentioned, we're talking about the Buffalo Bills here. I'm going to see which one of you guys want to go first.
It don't matter. I can start it off. As far as my take on the Buffalo Bills, I had them as I've talked to a few guys in my Madden leagues and just people that I've talked to about sports in general. I had the Bills high on my list of picks to go to the Super Bowl. I love Josh Allen. I love what he did this year. I had him winning MVP, but unfortunately that didn't happen. He really stepped up into his game as a passer more than a runner because when he came in, he was more known as a runner than a passer, but he really got into his own, especially with that addition to Stephon Diggs. But also just to say that for their draft, they don't really have any significant needs. They're going to be taking the best player approach, at least for the first round. What they're going to be looking for is defensive line, as Mario Addison and Jerry Hughes are both up there in age, and they're going to be looking for youth and depth going forward. AJ Epinesa, they drafted last year, but he didn't really have like the breakout season that they wanted to. So they're going to be looking for somebody to be on the line with Ed Oliver going forward. Also, Star Lutule, I probably butchered that name, but he's going to be he's up there in age as well. He's 30 going on 31. So they're basically looking for depth in that offensive line as you see that the Bucks decimated that the Chiefs offensive line, which the Bills, I'm sorry, they could have taken advantage of that if they had a solid defensive line. So for me, they're going for a defensive line in that first draft, which they would select by most of the players. I mean, most of the commentators that they've had doing mock drafts have said that they was going to take Christian Barmore, defensive tackle out of Alabama. If they wanted to go outside linebacker to add more of a rush, they would go Jason Owe off the edge from Penn State. Cornerback is also a need. They need somebody opposite of Tre'Davious White to make some noise to give that extra boost. Teron Johnson, he's more of their slot corner. Levi Wallace, he's not going to be the answer long term. So they're going to be looking for a cornerback either in the first or second rounds. The cornerback class is deep this year. So for them, they're going to be going for Tyson Campbell or Otu Melifonwu. Also, they want to go edge rusher. They have Azeez Ojulari, if he lasts that long, to pick up as well. And the slight choice, which I really don't think they would go first round, is running back. And they have Travis Etienne as a pick for them if they want to go that way. And other than that, their needs are offensive line, tight end, and safety, which I don't necessarily think they would address in the first round, but later rounds.
All right, which one of you guys want to be next? I'm last.
I'll go next. So I'm not a big proponent of taking running backs in the first round, but I do think that's actually one of their top needs for the Bills. Josh Allen was their leading rusher last year, which that kind of is concerning just going forward, just for his health. They drafted Zach Moss last year in the third round. He was banged up a little bit, but they're high on him. They also had Devin Singletary, who's a little on the smaller side. So I think at 30, I think, really strongly considering maybe Najee Harris from Alabama is a good option for them, just to take some of that pressure off of Josh Allen. They've done a great job with building that team over the last couple of years and just filling some needs just with their GM Brandon Beane, as well as Coach McDermott, really just changing the culture there. They also they have some defensive needs. I would say the top need on defense, I think, is defensive end. Like Devon was saying, Mario Addison and Jerry Hughes have been in the league for, I believe, 10 plus years. So they need to get a little younger there. I know AJ Epinesa fell last year, but he really didn't showcase much. But they're definitely one of the competitors to the Chiefs going forward. So let's see if they can make that step.
Shaq.
Go ahead, Shaq.
Okay. I definitely agree with both of you guys on some points. I honestly feel like the Buffalo Bills are the biggest threat in the AFC, not the Kansas City Chiefs. Simply because looking at here, a lot of people are going to say they need to go defense. The corner, it's interesting, with Tre'Davious White and not really knowing who his complementary corner was. They were 9th in passing touchdowns allowed, and they were 3rd in turnovers forced. So with that being said, I think their biggest issue is getting somebody off the edge to help stop the run, or go D-tackle, because right here it says they were 26th overall in yards allowed rushing and 27th in overall touchdown rushes. So that's a big thing, with the oppositions that the Kansas City Chiefs just got building that offensive line. They're going to be dangerous rushing. So you got to be able to stop the run, because we all know having a decent defense and a running game in the playoffs is very pivotal to win games. Offensively, I don't see them really needing a lot of needs. I've seen a lot of people saying they need to take a wide receiver because of the age of Cole Beasley and things like that. But I feel like for this draft, they're definitely going defense. And if I was the Buffalo Bills, I'm looking for guys to help me stop the run. That is a big, big need.
All right. And before we get into, let me see what the comments saying. Kyle, what's going on, bro? He said the Bills are taking Chuba Hubbard. That's an interesting pick for them to take at 30. Shout out to Devon's mom. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
But my points for the Buffalo Bills were that their needs were the top 4 needs for them was cornerback, defensive end, defensive tackle, and safety. They're big. You want to add a corner in this draft if you're the Buffalo Bills, because No disrespect to the other guys on the team. Teron Johnson's been productive. They have not had bad corner play because they were top 10. They were top 10 passing defense last year. But why not try to get you another guy opposite side of Tre'Davious White coming into this draft, which is a luxury for them at this point at number 30. Also, I said that they needed to address defensive end and defensive tackle. They did not get a consistent pass rush in that game against the Chiefs that they lost in the AFC Championship game. And with Mario Addison and Jerry Hughes, these guys have been in the league for a pretty long time. So you want to get you a guy while you can now. And there's going to be a lot of talent left at that point of the draft because really we don't know what's going to happen. It could be a QB run. It could be a receiver run in this draft at some point. So that could be another factor to come into play. Defensive tackle is another issue for them that I have them addressing. Star, I don't want to missay his last name. If you remember, he played for the Panthers for a couple years. He set out due to the COVID pandemic. He's going to be back. However, he's getting older too. So you want to get you another guy up front if you're them. And also, this may sound very, very weird for the Buffalo Bills. At safety and offensive line, those are two sleeper picks. They don't have to address that early because they got Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde is the other safety there. So they got safety help. But they're gonna probably look into getting some depth because they got a lot of talent coming into this division between the Patriots loading up with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. You got the Dolphins getting Will Fuller. So both of the teams in their division is getting better. And the Jets got Corey Davis. I didn't mean to keep them out. But they're seeing offenses get better in the AFC East. So why not address those issues? And then another thing, their interior offensive line. Their biggest problem they're going to run into is Mitch Morse has an injury problem. So if there's ever an issue there, why not get you guys in this draft? Get you a center, get you a guard, because there's so much talent there at that point. Before I read off the draft picks, let me see what the comments are saying. Jay Lee, what's going on, bro? He said the Pats need to stop the run. Yes, they do. Kyle said they're going to go Chuba Hubbard, and again, they're going to go Sarah. Okay, the linebacker from Wake Forest.
Last that long. I don't think
I don't think he's going to last that long either. And he said that was big on them losing. So he's talking about the defensive tackle. Reggie, what's going on, man? He said, come on with the Miami Dolphins talk. We got you. We're going to get there. But
I think one thing we forgot to add, though, the acquisition of Matt Breida. I think that'll help out a lot in that running game.
That's true. Matt Breida is a member of the Buffalo Bills. But mock draft has them taking – CBS Sports has them taking – hold on, I'm going to read real quick. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. CBS Sports have them taking – Ryan Wilson has them taking Asante Samuel Jr. out of Florida State. Christian Prosser has them taking Melifonwu out of Syracuse, safety. Josh Edwards has them taking Asante, and so does Pete Prisco. All three of them have them taking Asante Samuel Jr. Walter Football has Jalen Phillips falling to them at number 30. NBC Sports has a sleeper pick, which is them taking Kadarius Toney out of Florida at wide receiver. And Bleacher Report has them taking Jason Owa out of Penn State. Those are the picks they have for the Buffalo Bills. And last but not least, we're gonna go into the topic of the defending Super Bowl champions now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But before we get into them, let's see what the preview says about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And last but certainly not least, at number 32 on the board is the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who in the regular season, they had an up and down run at first. They started off pretty hot, and then they started to slip towards the end of the season. They were 7-5 going into week 13, and they ended up winning out the rest of the way to go on to beat the Washington football team. They beat New Orleans, Green Bay, and Kansas City, all on their way to winning a Super Bowl. They posted the top 10 offense and defense. They were number 3 on offense. They were number 8 on defense. They were the best rushing defense in the league. They weren't so well as far as running the ball, but it happened to change in the postseason because that's where it matters the most. Led by Tom Brady, who won his 7th Super Bowl. This offseason, most of the squad came back. This is one of the rare times where you will see a championship team get a chance to absolutely reload and come back for one more year. But they will look to get better because at the end of the day, this run won't last forever. And now let's get to what we think the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers would do with the number 32 pick in the NFL draft. As you saw, last but not least is Tampa Bay. As I mentioned, they brought back everybody. I've never seen that happen in most teams. Most teams, if you see a situation where they bring back their teams, it's because most guys are under contract. This was not that case. A lot of these guys were up for free agency. They was able to retain most of them. So I'm gonna let either Armand or Devon go into Tampa Bay first. You got to unmute your mic because I had beat both of
them. I'll go first. So yeah, with Tampa Bay, they were able to bring back everybody with the exception of Antonio Brown. I think offensively, I think they're pretty much set. They have Scotty Miller, who's also the number 3 receiver who played fairly well before Antonio Brown got there. They have, Ronald Jones at running back. They're pretty strong at that position. I think they also drafted Keyshawn Vaughn last year out of Vanderbilt. That's one of the running backs on the team. They did a great job in being patient in the draft last year, getting Tristan Wirfs, who was one of the best rookies overall on the right side. With that offensive line, they're pretty strong there. I do think that they could use some interior offensive line help there because they've had some injuries and some guys are free agents upcoming. Defensively, they're stout. That front seven is crazy. They're fast, they're physical, and they don't care. They could use a younger pass rusher. Jason Pierre-Paul is pretty up there in age. They also had Ndamukong Suh, who was there, and Vita Vea, so they can definitely use some youth just along that linebacker edge position. And they're pretty young in the secondary as well, where they don't have a lot of money allocated. Antoine Winfield Jr. played exceptionally well. Carlton Davis played well. Jamel Dean is a really intriguing cornerback. I think he was the guy who got picked on last year a little bit, but played better down the stretch. But I definitely can see edge being a target at 32 if they stay at that pick.
For me, yes, they are the Super Bowl champs. No, I did not like you addressing the Washington football team, losing to them. But that's just my personal bias. Running it back, they're going to be running back with the same roster again. Arians already said that there's not going to be a set starter. There's going to be competition there going forward into next season. But they do have 5 additional team needs, although they are a pretty much set team again. But they do want to run it back. But their team needs for me would be number 1, they need a third pass rusher. They either need another outside linebacker or definitely a D-line based on their scheme. Number 2, like Armand was saying, they need defensive line help. Suh is going to be getting up there in age. If they draft one, he's going to be getting what I call the Ryan Kerrigan treatment, which for us, Ryan Kerrigan was coming in on some third down plays and basically like an insurance type of deal, just so that if in case that rookie is starting to fail, you put him back in, he's going to be that veteran presence on the line. Number 3. Need a potential backup at quarterback. Tom Brady is going to be going out soon. He just signed that deal to pretty much play until he's 50. I don't know if he's going to last that long, if he's going to retire in between then or not, but, we'll see. Probably not. But as far as I'm concerned, Blaine Gabbert and Ryan Griffin are not built to be the successors in Tampa, so they're going to be looking for that in the draft. Interior offensive linemen. They did have one of the best offensive linemen in the league last year. As we saw in Super Bowl, they held up their own against the Chiefs defense. But they're going to be looking for contracts soon and in the upcoming year, so they're going to need depth just in case they're not going to be able to hold them all. And also they're going to need a solid kick returner, Jaden Mickens. He had a solid year for them, but he's going to be on his way out. And if they address it in free agency before the draft, they can, but they're probably going to be looking for one in the later rounds. As far as picks are concerned, as far as NFL.com, they're going to be taking the best player approach. Maurice Jones-Drew has them selecting Trevon Moehrig. Peter Schrager has them selecting Davis Mills, who's a quarterback that I sought out for the Washington football team to be our next QB. His draft stock is rising. He'll be slipping into the first round, maybe. I don't necessarily see it happening, but he might slip into the first round if the Bucs still have their pick. Daniel Jeremiah has them selecting Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss, wide receiver, to be their third wide receiver, seeing that Antonio Brown isn't coming back, and he'll be in rotation with Scotty Miller, that slot position, more than likely. ESPN has them selecting Jalen Mayfield in the first round, addressing that offensive line dilemma, which within the upcoming rounds. Tristan Wirfs, who they drafted last year, he had a solid year, so Jalen Mayfield will come in and be a compliment to him on the opposite side. Benjamin Solak has them trading with Philly in the second round. Philly wants to get 2 picks in that first round to address their needs. They didn't really have a strong free agency as they would have hoped. So if they do decide they want to trade Philly, that would be good for them. Like I said, the Bucs, they don't really need that much help in that first round. They can go later rounds and be okay. Pro Football Focus, they have them selecting Elijah Moore again. CBS Sports' Ryan Wilson has them selecting defensive line Levi Onwuzurike. I think I said that name right. Addressing that need at line. Chris Trapasso, Alex has them selecting Alex Leatherwood, again another pick for their offensive line. Pewter Report has them selecting center Landon Dickerson. And Barstool Sports, this is a surprising pick to me, but it could make sense for depth purposes. They have them selecting cornerback Caleb Farley. And the only reason I say that it's a surprising pick is because, like we discussed last podcast, Caleb Farley's stock is lowering due to his health issues, which he has had back surgery, and they don't know if he's going to be ready, 100% at the point that the season's going to start. So his draft stock is lowering. So if he's still there at 32, then there's a possibility they may take him. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Before I get into it, let me go to the comments real quick. Nick Green said, NTB here. What's on NTB family?
Thanks for showing love.
He also said, we knocking off Bucks Panthers Nation. We're not going to get started with this today. We are not starting about the Bucks Panthers today. Kyle said, what's going on, bro? He said the Bucks are going quarterback first. If a quarterback falls at that spot, it can happen.
I mean, I see them taking that, like doing like the Packers did, you know what I'm saying, getting a future QB for them. They got Jordan Love last year, so we'll see what they do this year.
Got another member from NTB checking in. What's going on, Brian? Kyle also said the Eagles need receivers and pennies. Well, we're going to touch on you guys in just a second. Winkley said, what's going on, man? He said interior offensive line and secondary for the Bucks. I agree with both. That could definitely happen at 32 for him. He says that Caleb Farley is the best corner in the draft. Don't know if I agree with you there because there's a guy in South Carolina who's my favorite corner.
Farley was the best cornerback in the draft before all this health stuff came up. Let's be honest. Surtain is solid. He's been up there for the rise, but Horn was rising. He had that pro day. That was a record pro days, but we'll see. I like Farley a lot.
Okay, let's see. Jeff Lee said, I think offensive line, as long as that front seven helps, rush helps the secondary, the only thing in the offense. That is very, very true. I agree with that 100%. Let's see the next comment. DJ Antoine, what's going on from Twitch, said the Bears. We're going to talk about you guys in the full mock draft. Ace, oh, man. Tay, what's going on, man? He
what
said,
up, Tay?
yes, we in here. Nick Green said, Surtain. I understand why some people think Surtain is the best corner. I don't personally think he is, but I can understand why. Whitley said that Horn is nice. Yeah, I agree. If he was healthy, he probably would be the number one corner on the board. And David Moody, what's going on? He said, I can see the Bucs taking the quarterback first round. He said that Brady is retiring that season. Man, Tom Brady. I've been saying that Tom Brady will retire for 5 years. I don't know. But I agree with all their points. I think that the offense, I think that they also need to add another pass rusher because you got JPP, you got Shaq Barrett. They're running a 3-4 scheme, so that will be perfect for them to add to that defense already while you got the guys there. Defensive lineman is another great addition. Excuse me, guys. I was looking at my notes. I'm sorry. But the defensive line, Ndamukong Suh's getting older. You're not going to be able to rely on him forever. Get you a defensive line when you can. A backup quarterback, as was previously mentioned. Tom Brady will not be there forever. I don't know when he's going to retire, but he won't be there forever. So you want to go ahead and start getting a guy to learn up under the GOAT, because Tampa Bay, it took you 50 million years to get another quarterback. I do not count Jameis, Josh Freeman, Brad Johnson. The list goes on. You know who the guys are, Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. Also, an offensive lineman, you do want to get better on your offensive line. As far as the Bleacher Report has been taking Christian Barmore, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. Walter Football has been taking Azeez Ojulari out of UGA. I will be absolutely angry if he ends up in the NFC South. He's not a Falcon, but that's a topic for another day. CBS Sports has been taking Levi Wuzarike. Excuse us if we mess that name up. Him and the guy from Notre Dame are the two guys who we have a hard time giving their names. Christian Prosper has taken Alex Leatherwood from Alabama. Josh Edwards has taken Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. And Pete Prisco has taken Carlos Basham Jr. at the linebacker. I think it's out of Wake Forest, if I'm not mistaken. He has them going to 32 to Tampa Bay. But it's kind of the same thing. Everyone's taking either a lineman of either way. Before we get into the mock draft, let's see what the comments said. Ace Tay. I keep calling you by your nickname on Facebook. Excuse me. He said that I missed the Eagles. No, we hadn't got there yet. Kyle said they don't throw to Surtain. He might be the real deal. Yeah, we'll get a chance to see what happens in the NFL. We know Marlon Humphrey saved Alabama corners, because if you remember how Alabama corners do in the NFL, we're not going to get into that topic. And Winkley said I wouldn't draft a quarterback first round, get Brady all the assets while he's there. I agree with that 100%. Similar to how they did last year, getting Wirfs and those guys down in Tampa Bay. But now we're going to go to the mock draft. Arm did a full 32-team mock draft last year. He's going to do it again today. And we're going to get a chance to let everyone give your opinions as we go down the list. But you ready to start?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
So we're going to put your first pick up now. All right, the first pick, he has the Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. There shouldn't be anybody else. What you guys say?
I agree with that. Unless somehow the Jaguars switch up and say they want to take Justin Fields first, I don't see that happening. They're taking QB.
I mean, the Jaguar fans have already given him $20,000 for his wedding, so I think that's enough.
That's right there.
Okay. That's the first obvious pick. Number 2, he has the Jets taking Zach Wilson out of BYU. Any comments on that?
Honestly, the Jets can go any position because they need everything and anything, but QB is definitely the main concern after they just lost Sam Darnold, so Zach Wilson would be their best bet for them.
Yeah, so this draft is based on what I think will happen. I think there may be a 2% chance that Justin Fields can get taken here, or I don't think Mac Jones is going to get taken at 2. But they've been really tight-lipped about what's going on there. I think just the assumption with Wilson being second is going to happen. So I think that's the pick for them.
I agree. I think Zach Wilson is definitely going to be the pick for the Jets. I can't see them taking anything outside of quarterback. Now let's get to the first intriguing team of this draft, the 49ers, who got up here via the trade with the Dolphins, who's going to take Mac Jones out of Alabama. I want to hear your pick before we get into that. Kyle says that Fields is better than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, as I posted a picture in one of our Madden group chats. Lawrence was more of a screen passer in 2020. Fields had way lesser attempts at screens. So, in my opinion, I don't want to say this too early, but if they keep on doing that type of play with Lawrence, he could be the next Alex Smith. going into this draft. And I say that only because we saw what he did in Washington, screens all day. I didn't like it, but if that's how they want to play him, that's how they're going to play him. So hopefully he finds success with that.
Yikes.
Interesting. Interesting. Hey, I like Lawrence better. I love Justin Fields, but I mean Trevor has always been the guy, number one. I mean, yeah, he threw a lot of screen passes last year. I think that was maybe just the difference in scheme for them, but I've seen him drive the ball down the field. And his athleticism is, really good for someone his size. The only thing is he's going to have to put on some weight.
I get what you're saying. As far as your pick for Mac Jones going to the 49ers, as crazy as this sounds, I've been actually talking to a couple of my buddies off this podcast and whatnot, seeing that Mac Jones is probably going to be coming up the board, and now I really can see that happening because with the Justin Fields news we kind of talked about the other day with the health issue, so that could also swing them the direction of taking Mac Jones. I don't think he should be number 3, but that's just my personal opinion. Devon knows I'm not a really big fan of Mac Jones at all, but I'm gonna let these guys talk about it.
I mean, as far as Mac Jones is concerned, as you say, he might be a bust. I personally think he might be a bust. I just want to see what he's going to do without that strong receiving core. You know what I'm saying? And not saying the 49ers don't have a strong receiving core because they do have Brandon Ayuk. He had a strong rookie season. He's coming back. They got Deebo Samuel. So it's like, and they got George Kittle as well. So Mac Jones and Matt Leonard again. Oh boy.
Yikes.
Oh boy.
I'm leaving that one alone.
I'm leaving that alone, man. I just want to see, like, Mac Jones is really gonna be that person. You just have to see him day one and go from there and make a pick on that because like I said, everybody, like Devonta Smith said he would choose Mac Jones over 2A. And we saw what 2A did to lead this year, so I don't know.
All right, Armand, what's your thoughts on Mac Jones? I want to hear what made you put him at 3.
Well, first, I would like to say that I hate this pick. I really do. I don't like it. I think for the 49ers, whoever is going to go there, I think that it will be successful regardless just because of the structure that's there. But I just think from an upside standpoint, I think that Mac Jones doesn't really have it. I know that I personally, if it was me, I would take Trey Lance here at number 3 based on the circumstances with Jimmy Garoppolo being there for a year. And then, you have an upside quarterback who still can grow within the offense. But just with the reports that have been coming out that Mac Jones will be number 3, I think he'll probably be successful there, but honestly, I think if he doesn't get taken at 3, I think he was going to fall a very long way. So just keep on the eye on that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Fields may go here, but I will watch out for Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is the guy that no one's talking about that could go here. I think this is a smokescreen, to be honest. But just for now, I'll put Mac Jones here.
Okay. Number 4, my Birds. You have them taking Kyle Pitts out of Florida. I know Jay Lee absolutely loves this pick right here, so I know I absolutely hate this pick because, me personally speaking, there's nothing against Kyle Pitts as a talent. He's the talented player of this draft. I got to give him that. I think he's the best player overall in this draft. However, for the Falcons situation, I do not think a tight end solves what is the problem for this team. I know a lot of folks will say, well, hey, Matt Ryan's under the contract for 3 more seasons, but you need to start looking at a quarterback because we have a new GM, new front office, new head coaching staff. So I want to start getting these guys prepared for what happens after 2021. We know we're going into 2021. We're going to have Matt, Julio, that group together. But I personally think it's going to be the last season we have that group together. Well, it also depends on what we do in the draft here. If we do take Kyle Pitts, then that lets me know that we're going to be looking at a quarterback next year rather than this year. But in regards to, I don't know, I'm not a fan of Kyle Pitts being a Falcon at 4. Maybe 8 or 9, but at 4, absolutely not. But let me see what these guys say. Jay Lee, I just said it. He said he need to grab Pitts to trade back for a pass rusher. He said he also loved the pick of Kyle Pitts. Nick Green said that Matt Ryan will be gone before Tom Brady. Ugh.
Yeah.
Could be. Could possibly be. Kyle said that the Falcons are going to go picks. Forget them cats.
All right. I'm here for the comments.
Yeah, y'all can go quarterback next season or pick one in free agency if there's some solid ones available. But I think Matt Ryan, I have a feeling that Matt Ryan's going to pull the card of trying to be there as long as Brady, just because he saw what he could do at his age. But who knows? It's up in the air with that. But like, I mean, I understand what you're saying about that's not the main need. I really see them picking Kyle Pitts because he's that combine warrior. He's that best player in free agency. I mean, not free agency. I'm sorry, in the draft. Has the most upside as far as he can play two positions. He can be your slot receiver or he can be your tight end. You know what I'm saying? He could fit both of those needs that you guys have, and you guys can select the quarterback in later rounds. So that's if y'all do want that that upside next season.
Yes, we just made a comment that this is one of my side note fears, not on Matt Ryan. That season quarterback Matt's gonna elevate his game in that play action style. This is my tricky situation for the Falcons. We were bad enough to go 4-12. But we're not bad enough to be 4-12 2 years in a row. They could find themselves middle of the pack or even a sneaky 7 seed in the NFC. Just the way you just never know with the Falcons. I feel like because we're not going to be in a position like this again, you want to take a guy. Me and Armand spoke about this right before we went on air. It sucks that we don't have like a Chase Young or a Nick Bosa in this position to get you a generational guy because it's not really generational guy, or we probably didn't know who it would be because of the fact that we had the COVID pandemic. I personally do not want to take anything but a quarterback at 4, but that's just me. But Jeff Lee said, leave picks on the board just a little bit longer. That's how I feel. I think he's going to be a great talent. I just don't want him in red and black, not at 4.
Who's Jeff? What team does Jeff like?
I'm not really sure, but I agree on that.
Drop it in Facebook.
That's a good question, Jeff. Who's your favorite team?
He probably want him to fall to his team. He probably a Cowboys fan. I know they've been talking a little bit.
We're not even going to discuss no Cowboys.
We're not going to the Cowboys.
That.
Let's see, Malik Francois. Hold on. He's a Dolphins fan.
Okay. All right.
That would be a great fit there too. But I actually skipped the comment. Malik Francois, what's going on, bro? He said delusional Falcon fans. Oh man. Man.
Can I spend some time on this pick a little bit? So I know that there's been some flack just with Justin Fields being from here, from the Atlanta area. I think there's a lot of people who are kind of getting off Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan has been very successful in his career. He's had 10 straight seasons of throwing for 4,000 yards. So his production has been there, but I think drafting a quarterback that, especially with his contract is the issue. So if you draft the Fields here, he's going to possibly sit for 2 years. Matt Ryan's been pretty durable throughout his career. He's only missed 3 games, and he's been in the league for 12, 13 years. That's pretty remarkable. I would entertain trading down here possibly, but looking at what's happened, what the 49ers were able to give up to move there, they're going to expect that same type of package. I think for the Falcons with their new coach, Arthur Smith, he's going to want to employ that Tennessee Titans type offense. And I think having Kyle Pitts there actually will take a lot of pressure off of Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley on the outside. He's going to open up a lot of lanes. That also will allow for them to run a lot of 2 tight end sets with Pitts and Hayden Hurst. They have talent on the offensive line. They just got to mesh together and figure that out. And also get a running back. So personally, if they stay here at 4, I think that they should take Kyle Pitts. He's the best player in the draft. He's kind of where the NFL is going. And to be honest, there's no one in that division who can guard him one-on-one. That's how I personally feel.
Linebackers, nothing.
I'm gonna say this right here.
You saying if he goes to the Falcons, Devin White is not gonna be able to cover Kyle Pitts and cover.
I don't think Devin White is a blitzing linebacker, man. I think a lot of people I like Devin White a lot, but Devin White, he's not really a coverage linebacker. And he's 6'6", bro.
Oh,
you throw that up, Devin White ain't jumping with him.
Oh yeah, I feel that. I forgot.
I get what you said. Jay Lee said that he said he didn't say good, but Jonnu Smith played good in that scheme in Tennessee, so I feel Pitts can too. You kind of just even added to what he just said. But I'm gonna say this before we go to the Bengals. No matter who we take, my fan base will not. You hear me? Will not be happy. They're not gonna be happy no matter what. If we take Pitts, you're gonna have folks throwing a fit about not taking the quarterback. If we take Fields, you have fans throwing a fit about Kyle Pitts. So I can tell you like this: no matter what we pick, nobody's going to be happy in this fan base. And I can not wait to get annoyed on Thursday night at the argument on here. But moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals take in Penny Sewell, the offensive tackle out of Oregon. I think that's an obvious pick for these guys. What do you guys think?
I've heard some things through Cincinnati, just with my Ohio roots. I know Joe Burrow is really high on his former teammate Jamar Chase. So that could be a surprise area there. I don't think that's in the best interest of him, just from a protection standpoint, especially with what the Browns are presenting to the Bengals right now on the defensive line. But I think the smart choice would be to protect your investment and draft Sewell. I know there are some teams that are higher on Rashawn Slater as well, going closer to the draft, but I think him being 20 years old, he's physically, at a great place at his age, but he still has room to grow. I think he'll be a great pick for the Bengals.
Yeah, I see them either going offensive tackle with Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase if they want to go the wide receiver route to help out their receiving core. Like I said, they're trying to rebuild LSU over there in Cincinnati. They already got Thaddeus Moss. They picked up from us, the Washington football team, as he was cut. So they're just trying to run the back over there. But yeah, I see them mostly going for offensive tackle.
Okay, Jeff Lee asked who's our team. Obviously, I'm a Falcons fan. Armand's a Browns fan, and Devon's a Washington football no-name team fan.
Hey, what did I say? Division champs. That's our name. Division champs. That's our name.
The Washington Division champs. I do have a bold prediction about the Bengals. Since you're talking about this whole LSU thing, their next coach will be Joe Brady.
Wow, I like that.
So Zach Taylor's on the hot seat. So watch out for that.
But I agree with you guys about Penei Sewell. I think that's your obvious pick because you got to protect Joe Burrow. But the Bengals need everything. I'm sorry, they need everything. I hate to say you so rude. Outside of the Jets, they need everything. So anybody can help that team out. On to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, you have them taking Jamar Chase out of LSU. I would love Jamar Chase down in Miami.
Yeah. Jamar Chase, Will Fuller, Jakeem Grant, when he becomes healthy, that receiving core is going to be deadly, man. I'm telling you.
Hold on, before Armand goes, Joe Brady ain't leaving Carolina. How dare you? You're lucky he's not a Falcon head coach, sir, because Joe Brady was definitely in the Falcons' radar. He's going to be gone at some point in Carolina. You might as well enjoy your time with him because he's going to be gone.
Yeah, just with the trajectory of coordinators working out in the NFL now, I think he had some interviews last year. I think he just needs to get more experience as a coordinator going forward. But I definitely think that, he's going to leave because Matt Rule isn't going anywhere. He signed like a 7-year deal. Unless you're going to pay him head coach money to be a coordinator, which I don't think they're going to do. But they might do because their owner is rich.
True. But I'm going to let y'all go ahead and talk about Jamar Chase, though, because that comment had threw it off.
Jamar Chase, in my opinion, best receiver in the draft going forward. He has the most upside, in my opinion. Wherever he goes, whether it's as early as the Bengals or as late as the Dolphins, he's going to be in the top 10. He's going to be the number one receiver taken off the board, and he's definitely going to make an impact. We saw what Justin Jefferson did, and he wasn't taken in the first round. So it's like LSU receivers. I'm not going to call them the wide receiver university over there, but they definitely have produced some good wide receivers, as we've seen, like Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, as the most recent come out of there. So he's definitely going to make some noise in the NFL this upcoming season.
Bengals at number 5.
If they take Rondale Moore at 5, I will clown him on this podcast.
Are you saying number 5, or are you taking just maybe in the
He's
second round
number
or
5?
something?
I will clown him on this podcast if they take Rondale Moore of all those receivers. Just side note.
I mean, they do need a replacement for John Ross, but that's not the answer at 5.
And John Ross was a good pick. That was a surprise pick at number 9 when that happened.
It was when that happened. He's great for Madden, but not great for real life. No disrespect, John Ross. I hope you do well in New York.
But
Jeff said,
go ahead.
I like the Kyle Pitts pick. He wants Kyle Pitts in I think Miami, because it would give them a blocking and receiving title with 2 tight ends. That would be nice to see down in Miami also too.
Okay. No, I think the pick Chase is the best wide receiver in the draft. I think even with him sitting out, I think he proved his athletic testing at his pro day. I definitely think it'll help Tua with his progress. The Dolphins had one of the worst receiving cores in the league last year. I know Devontae Parker got a new deal, but he kind of underperformed. So they really can use someone who could come in immediately and change that offense.
Okay, let's see your next pick. Now, Armand has the first trade coming up. He got the Broncos moving to 7 to take Justin Fields from Ohio State. What made you decide to say that the Broncos are going to trade up?
Yeah, so I've read some articles related to the Broncos, just looking at, evaluating Drew Lock. I think right now, just with their opportunity to kind of compete, you have obviously Patrick Mahomes with Kansas City. You have Justin Herbert with Los Angeles. Derek Carr's with Oakland or Las Vegas. So many team names.
Yeah, both of them.
But I think he's going to be on the outs next year. So I think that they need to get their quarterback situation fixed quickly with the talent that they have on offense. I think Fields would be a great addition to their team. He can compete with Locke. He doesn't have to start immediately, or he can outright win the job. So I think, having a running game, having an offensive line, they need a right tackle. They can get that in the second round, but I think that they need a new face of that franchise after kind of seeing what Drew Lock performed last year, and it was so-so. What are your thoughts, Armand?
Yeah, I like that pick as number 7. Like you were saying, I said it before. Drew Lock, I don't think is going to be the solid answer there in Denver. He's kind of, as far as his health issues are concerned, he's not. I don't think he's going to be that. He's not that consistent, in my opinion. And they do have a lot of talent there. They have Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick. If they decide they want to go wide receiver route in the draft in the later rounds, they definitely going to need somebody that's consistent that's going to come in and do the job. They also got 2 solid tight ends. They got Noah Fant and Albert. You know what I'm saying? I can't even say his last name.
Yeah, he'll
going to say Albert O. You know what I'm saying? So, but just that pick in general, I think like them trading up, it's going to be a good investment for them. Justin Fields does have a lot of good upside if he stay healthy. So that'll be a good thing for them to trade up.
I agree with you guys about Justin Fields being in Denver because they need a quarterback. Drew Lock isn't it. I was high on Drew Lock coming out the draft. I know Armand remember that. I thought, man, Drew Lock will be a sleeper. He was a sleeping disappointment for me, but I really believe that they're going to be looking at a quarterback in this draft. And John Elway got to do a better job of finding quarterbacks in the draft because he sucks at finding quarterbacks in the draft. And that's sad because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he's similar to Michael Jordan in Charlotte. This man can't find a quarterback to save his life.
I mean, hey, look, Michael Jordan found LaMelo, and look what he's been doing for him. We turned that whole franchise around. So maybe
maybe
this is John Elway's year getting a quarterback. Maybe he does right.
That's true. All right, number 8, he got the Panthers taking Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle out of Northwestern. I can see that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so they need a left tackle after trading for Sam Darnold in the offseason a couple weeks ago. They need to protect whoever is going to be the quarterback there. I know that they, initially were in the running to try to acquire Deshaun Watson before all the allegations and issues came out. But I think right now they need to really protect, Christian McCaffrey going forward and really finding that left tackle. They haven't really had a good left tackle since Jordan Gross was there for many years, protecting like Jake Delhomme and other quarterbacks there. So I think that's a great pick there.
He said LaMelo turned right
I'm not
around.
gonna say he turned them around, but he definitely made them. He made them relevant in the East. You know what I'm saying? Or not relevant, but he sparked some future future change in the East.
Some hope for that for organization. I get what you're saying.
Completely turned
Nick Green said Parsons.
Oh, you want Micah Parsons with the Panthers? Okay, to
Your
replace
defense already young though. Your defense already young though. That's the thing.
I would say that they were the first team, I think, in NFL history to use all of their draft picks last year on defense. So I don't think that would be in their best interest to just get another linebacker who's really not a cover linebacker. I like Parsons a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I know there's a lot of things swirling around him. But I think he's going to be a good linebacker in the league.
I do agree with you guys saying. On to your second trade of this draft. You got the Patriots coming up to 9 and taking Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. I like that pick for the Patriots, to be honest with you. I would love to see them get a quarterback because no disrespect to Cam Newton, but you got to get you a young guy in there that's going to be there for a long term, unless they're trying to go find Jimmy Garoppolo from San Fran. I don't know. But what do you guys think?
I like that, even though I would like Trey Lance to be in Washington. I don't know. Trey Lance, he would do good in New England scheme. They already got the pieces there locked up for a couple of years if he does go. Cam Newton is there on another 1-year deal. So one is going to be veteran presence if he does sit behind him for that year, if he does get drafted there, just to learn the system with Belichick and Cam Newton there. As far as his success there, I feel like he could be successful if they put the right piece around him. They build him like a Tom Brady. Then definitely he will have success there.
So I love this pick. I love this pick for the Patriots, although I'm not a Patriots fan. He literally might not play next year, which is great. That would probably be the most ideal plan. If he doesn't play, he just sits with a clipboard and just watch. But I think Trey Lance has all the tools to be a successful NFL quarterback. He's learning from a former NFL MVP. They're building that offense back up. I think Bill Belichick will, be happy to have him. Just from a scheme standpoint, Josh McDaniels, if he does have to play, Josh McDaniels can run some plays. I think Trey Lance is really underrated. I think he gets slammed because he's only played 1 year, which I do think is a concern. But he has played in a pro-style offense, so he does understand the nuances, and he's played with a fullback before. That's why I really would like him to go to San Francisco because they have the best fullback in the league. But I think the Patriots coming up here, they give up some draft capital, but they'll be okay. They have a great defense coming back.
Okay. I agree with what both of you guys are saying. Number 10 for you Cowboy fans. So Armand has the Cowboys taking Pat Surtain out of Alabama. I 100,000,000% agree with this pick because the Cowboys did everything on defense. They were horrible last year, and I'm still mad we lost to these guys. But I'm gonna leave that for another day. You guys go ahead about the Cowboys.
I didn't mention this earlier. My sister commented earlier and said that we're not going to be hating on the Cowboys. Thank you for supporting, by the way. But I'm a Washington football fan, so just in my blood, I hate the Cowboys. But I do like this pick. They do need cornered help. They need help all around that defense. Their corners didn't really succeed as they would have hoped. They still have Anthony Brown. They still have Trevon Diggs. Patrick Surtain would definitely be a big boost to their defense, big boost to their secondary, and help with the many solid receivers that's going to be in the NFC East. As far as McLaurin, Samuel, the Giants, they have Galladay and John Ross and Slayton still there, so it will definitely be a big boost. I'm not really going to talk about the Eagles because we still don't know who's going to be their solid receiver. Yeah, but next topic, you know what I'm saying, that, it's not really too much we can talk about the Cowboys, but that's just my personal bias. But we're going to go ahead with you, Nate.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
the
I love
Cowboys.
listen. I love all the slander for the Dallas Cowboys. This is hilarious.
Yeah. So the Cowboys, like I think there's not much to say. I know they need another cornerback after losing Byron Jones the previous offseason. They really struggled in their secondary last year. So I think, Patrick Surtain, having the bloodlines of a father who played in the NFL, he can just come in and, play that, cornerback 2 spot and, come in and make an impact.
Okay. Next pick on the board, you have the Chargers trading up to 11 to take J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. I like J.C. Horn. He's my favorite corner in the draft. That would be a nice fit for the Chargers, though, to definitely take him because I think Chris Harris getting older. They got Derwin James. You got to get you a solid corner out there in L.A. They had a really good draft last year, so let you guys go ahead and go into that.
Yeah, so with their new head coach, Brandon Staley, who came from the Rams, he had Jalen Ramsey. So he had that cornerback one who kind of had that dog alpha mentality. So coming to Los Angeles where they just released Casey Hayward, Chris Harris, like you said, is on the older side. They need to get that cornerback one to come in there. I think, they did this to hop the Eagles. So I know this is going to upset some Eagles fans. But they're him building this defense the right way. Obviously, Derwin James is the wild card for that team. Just coming back and being healthy. He's been out for the last couple of years. Personally, they're my They're my team. I think that's going to make the playoffs as a wild card team next year. I really like what they have there. I think Justin Herbert can make the next step. They do need some offensive line help. So that also can be a pick here. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like Elijah Vera Tucker or Christian Darris is on their radar here as well. But I think with a defensive-minded head coach, I think they're going to look at cornerback.
Stay Devon.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot. Like Armand was saying, they released Casey Hayward. They have Chris Harris there. They do need that cornerback one is going to be there for years to come and make a significant impact. As far as everything else goes, I don't necessarily see them being just seeing how the AFC is. I don't necessarily see them being in the playoffs unless Justin Herbert does have a good year and that whole team can stay healthy. I don't necessarily see him being in the playoffs, but I know that just for his development, him coming in and being behind a veteran cornerback like Chris Harris, who has had a lot of success, especially with the Broncos, it'll definitely help his development there, and he'll be a force to reckon with in years to come.
All right, the next pick on the board, Kyle, I know you're excited. The Philadelphia Eagles take Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. I've been hearing them taking either him or Devonta Smith. They've definitely been the guys I've been seeing them talk about the most because they do need to get a receiver. I still don't know how in the world they missed on Justin Jefferson last year for freaking Jalen Reagor. I'm going to leave that alone. You guys go ahead.
I feel like notifications about to go off real fast over here. I heard some pings, so so yeah, with Jalen Waddle, I think after drafting Jalen Reagor last year, who kind of underperformed, that room is really bare. I know I said on the podcast that I was on last time that they have a type at receiver, 5'10", 180-pound type guys, but Waddle is different. Waddle is fast, man. I think giving Jalen Hurts some weapons to work with to really kind of evaluate him would be helpful. I think that Waddle, I would say he can match with Jamar Chase if you talk about talent, just pure speed. So we'll see how he'll play there. So I hope the Eagles fan like this pick.
Yes, sir. Devon, what you thinking?
I love this pick for them. It gives them size and speed, something that they haven't or that they don't really have. They just have speed, not necessarily the height. But Eagles need Nick Foles, please. Jalen Waddle will be a boost to the receiving core. I feel like if he does get drafted, he'll be the wide receiver one. They'll put Reagor in the slot and probably have Travis Fulgham, Ward, or whoever they want at wide receiver two. It's going to be a competition just knowing going into the preseason, whoever they decide to draft at wide receiver to see who they're going to have at wide receiver one. But if I was to have a personal opinion on it, I would see Jalen Waddle, if he gets selected there, he would be the wide receiver one going forward. It'll be a great boost for Hurts' development.
Okay. The Giants going to make a boring safe pick. the Giants taking Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. I think that's a great pick for him because you do want to get that offensive line together. So, hold on, before I can see, Elite Fresh Squad said the new coaches are both.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe Judge.
Yeah. There's not really much we can do about that.
Now he's about the Eagles coach.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think they hired a yes man. I think Howie Roseman got power issues there from what I've heard. So good luck with that, Eagles fans.
Yeah, there was reports that they was babying Doug Peterson the whole time he was there until they let him go. So yeah, they just needed somebody to come in there and go with the Weber.
All right, you guys, what you think about Vera Tucker being a Giant?
I like the pick for the Giants. They got to protect Daniel Jones, even though I think Daniel Jones is the worst quarterback in the division. There, I don't really follow the NFC East much, but I don't think he's that good. But they got to protect him. They invested a top 10 pick in him. They lost Kevin Zeitler, who went to the Baltimore Ravens in the offseason. They drafted Andrew Thomas last year, who kind of had he had a disappointing year for the most part. But I think getting the athletic, guy who can play tackle or guard, I think he's going to slide in at right guard immediately. I think he's going to help with the offense with Saquon coming back. I think, the addition of Kenny Galladay being there, as well as I think Evan Ingram is going to have a good year as well. So solid pick for the Giants.
Yeah, I like this pick as well. They've been going offensive line the past couple of years in the draft, building up that line. Shizzle and Super Bowl, stop it. Honestly, I said stop it. They're picking that line basically to help protect Daniel Jones, as you said. If you look at Washington, they're going to play twice. They're going to play that defensive line twice. And for some reason, I don't know why, I don't know how, but Daniel Jones always looked like Tom Brady every time he plays us. I don't know what it is about him playing Washington or any NFC East team playing Washington, but we just look like straight doo-doo. But I do like this pick for them. It helps protect Daniel Jones, helps his development. I do see him breaking out this year. He's still not going to be the best quarterback in the East, but he'll definitely put up some numbers for them more than he has before.
Okay. We got the Vikings taking Kwity Paye out of Michigan. I can definitely see that because they need a replacement for Everson Griffin to pair up with Daniel Hunter out there in Minnesota. So I like that pick for him. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Yeah, so with the Vikings, they need offensive line as well. So seeing Tucker goes off the board, I think they're kind of bummed out there. Mike Zimmer's a defensive coach. After last year, the whole Yannick Ngakoue experiment didn't really work out for them. They traded him in mid-season. Daniil Hunter is coming back, I believe, from a neck injury, and he also has a contract situation where he wants to get paid. Be one of the highest paid defensive ends. So I think they need to come and draft another defensive end who could come in to, help them. They were I think close to being last in sacks last season. And that's not that's not typical of the Vikings. They got Justin Jefferson there, so that was a good pick last year. Whoever the Eagles fans, I know y'all crying over there about that, but y'all be all right. But yeah, I think it's a solid pick for the Vikings going forward.
Yeah, I like them as well. Him being lined up if he decides he wants to be on the left side, I believe. If Daniil Hunter's on the right side, it'll be him. It'll be Paye, Michael Pierce, and Daniil Hunter on that defensive front. It'll be a good front three for them going forward. And the defense, as far as linebackers are concerned, are already kind of stout. Cornerbacks could, they can go, like I said, they have a lot of depth there in the draft for cornerbacks. So if they want to address the secondary, I'll do that later rounds, but that's a good pick for them.
All right. The Lions will be taking Rashad Bateman because if you've missed out earlier, that mock draft we have, they are trading back to 15 with the Patriots. They have Rashad Bateman going to the Lions. They do need a wide receiver. They lost Kenny Galladay. They lost Marvin Jones. They lost multiple guys in that receiving core. So that will be great for them. And then to get more picks also in this draft to fall to 15 for them, they do need to get a wide receiver in the first round. There's too many receivers out here for these guys to miss out on. But I'm gonna let you guys chime in on what you think about Rashad Bateman going to the Lions.
Yeah, so the Lions traded down twice in this mock draft. Just FYI, they traded from 7 to 9 and then 9 to 15. The Lions have
hold on one second. What's my bad? We had picks going to Atlanta. They had picks going to Atlanta in the mock draft. But go ahead, I'm on my bad.
Yeah, so the Lions, I think, are honestly probably one of the poorly most ran franchises in the NFL. They have a coach who I don't know what he be saying sometimes. I think they're in rebuild mode. So I think they're trying to acquire as many picks as they can. And it's a surprise here that Devonta Smith hasn't been picked yet. But Bateman, he's been a really good receiver. At Minnesota, he's been very productive. I think he would come in and be a great asset for Jared Goff to use. And he can, really be an impactful player. Detroit definitely needs wide receivers. And I think this is the first pick to, help them rebuild their franchise.
Yeah, let's be honest. They've been in rebuild mode since Calvin Johnson left. That took a really big blow to their team, just in general, especially to the receiving core. I like Rashad Bateman being there, and as you were saying, as far as Devonta Smith not being picked, I think that has a lot to do with his size, being that he's only 6 foot and less than 180 pounds. That big body factor that they need to be a wide receiver one is what they need, and Devonta Smith, I just don't think for them is what they're really going to need. So Rashad Bateman, he has the size, he has the speed to really take the top off of the defense if he gets selected, and if he does, I do see him being that starting wide receiver one in Detroit.
Okay, the next pick, the Cardinals taking Greg Newsome, who has been flying up the draft board as of recent out of Northwestern. I do think that they will take a corner in this draft because they don't have any good secondary help out there. They don't really have good. They got Buda Baker and those guys, but they need corners. That's what I'm really trying to say. Before I go into this, I said the butt feel like I'm so sick of you guys. But go ahead and say your thoughts on Greg Newsome going to the Cardinals.
So yeah, the Cardinals, they only have 4 picks in this draft, so I think this could be a potential trade down. I've heard some rumors about them potentially trying to trade up for Kyle Pitts, which is very interesting. But losing Patrick Peterson, losing the cornerback, they have to replace him. I know they signed Malcolm Butler to a 1-year deal. Greg Newsome is a very intelligent cornerback. I think he allowed only 1 touchdown in his career while he was at Northwestern. Their program is a well-ran organization by Pat Fitzgerald. I know initially I was thinking about Caleb Farley here because he kind of fits the same kind of profile as Patrick Peterson. But I think there's, some health concerns that I have there with him. So I elected to put Greg Newsome here at 16 with the Cardinals.
Yeah, Greg Newsome has been climbing the boards. I've had him going later in the draft in the first round, but like you said, since his draft stock is rising, I do see him going up, and especially because Farley has fallen. He's not going to be there in the early part of the first round draft. Newsome will get some depth and some help long term at that corner position. Like you said, they lost Patrick Peterson, and Byron Murphy is okay. They still have Sean Murphy-Bunting there as well. But Greg Newsome will really help them bolster that secondary in the league where they have elite receivers in their conference or division. I'm sorry, such as Deshaun Jackson and the Rams to help the speed. They got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Caleb Farley is better than him, but he has the health concerns. That's the only reason.
Yeah, the health concerns is hurting Caleb Farley. To be honest with you, everyone knows every year you have that one guy slip up the board that you don't hear about until like the week before the draft. And it looked like Greg Newsome's starting to become that guy for this draft here. I don't really think he's a first rounder, but hey, we'll see. The Raiders taking Christian Barmore, defensive tackle out of Alabama. To be honest with you guys, I don't know what the Raiders are going to do. That's going to be the one team that you have no clue what they're going to do. And let me put this out here. As great as Mike Mayock is of a mock draft guy, I don't know what they're doing Vegas? I have no clue because their picks are, I don't really see anyone that's just standing out like that. Even Henry Ruggs, as great as he is, he didn't really have a big season like I thought he would going into the Raiders organization. I don't know. But what do you guys think about Christian Barmore?
Yeah, so when you have a GM and a head coach who are like, oh, this guy's a great football player. This guy's a great football player. This guy's a great football player. I think it doesn't bode well just meshing. But from the Raiders profile, it seems like they like to draft guys from like big power programs just for their draft tendencies. The last couple of years, Cleveland Farrell was overdrafted at number 4. He looks like a bust. But I think they just released Maurice Hurst, which really didn't make any sense. I know they've been shedding a lot of salary on the Raiders, so I think Barmore would be a good pick to replace Hurst. I know there's been some rumors that Barmore may get drafted higher than people think he may get drafted. So I thought that this was a comparable spot for him to be taken.
Great point that he just made before Devon goes into what he thought about it, because that's another tricky thing, and I'm sure you guys can probably chime in on this too, because even with Laramie Thompson having that issue a couple years before the draft, where he had the picture of him, I forgot I don't know what he was doing, but he slipped and he ended up being an outstanding left tackle. So that's a great point that you're making, because that health concern really do hurt these guys in the draft, which absolutely sucks because you never know. Certain guys may have a health issue coming into the league and actually play well. So that's a great point that you just made. But go ahead, guys.
Yeah, like my mom was saying, they do need help on that D line. They just released Maurice Hurst, who is now on the 49ers, to increase their defensive line and defense in general, who's already stout in its own. Yeah, I don't know what the Raiders are doing. All I know is they need to do something, because if you're paying a coach $100 million over 10 years just to go 8-8 or less every season, that's pretty much a waste of money. And you're not even gonna make the playoffs. Like, he's already been there for 3-4 years now, and he hasn't even made a significant impact in that West, especially when you have teams like the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. Even though the Broncos haven't really been as successful as they should be, there's still a lot of talent there, and the Raiders are just decimating that whole team. So it's like, I don't know what you got to do, but you need to do something. So this is a start. Hopefully it works out for them.
Okay, moving along, we got the Dolphins on the board for the second time, taking Micah Parsons out of Penn State. I would love this pick. If they walk away with Micah Parsons and Jamar Chase in the first round, they had an outstanding first start to this draft. Micah Parsons is one of my favorite guys. I think he slipped because of the quarterback run and receiver run, and then he didn't play in 2020. But I really like Michael Parsons. They do need to get a linebacker because they lost Kyle Van Noy. So I would love Michael Parsons going to Miami. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this is a great spot for Parsons to, fall to. Just the importance of linebacker has kind of diminished in the NFL a little bit. I think people want more hybrid safeties. But Brian Flores, he runs that Patriot scheme where he likes bigger linebackers who are athletes. So I think there will be a lot of blitz packages where Micah Parsons will come off the edge. I know he's not primarily known for coverage, but he's an exceptional run defender as well. Like you said, Nate, I think if they can get, Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons in this draft in the first round, I think they definitely will have, initially won the draft so far. So hopefully, he can come in and, learn from Jerome Baker, who can teach him the ropes so he can be an impact player.
Yeah, having two sideline linebackers like Michael Parsons and Jerome Baker on that defense, with already standing corners such as Byron Jones and Xavier Rhodes, if I said the wrong name.
Howard.
Yeah, Howard. That secondary is already going to be boosted. That line is okay. Their safeties, as far as the safeties are concerned, they would need to address that later in the rounds. But as far as just getting a linebacking core straight, that would be a great pick for them. Two fast guys that can get in the backfield that can cover somewhat, or you have one linebacker that can cover, but the other one can get to the quarterback fast. That would be a good fit for them.
You said that they needed linebackers for years since they lost Zach Thomas. Oh man.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Parson would be nice. Yeah, that would be two great guys right there. But yeah, Nets gonna finally get to one of the other guys' teams in this draft. The Washington football team selected Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. His name. Linebacker out of Notre Dame.
Koromoa. Owusu Koromoa.
I like that pick for the Washington football team. They do need to get some linebackers and to add to that outstanding front four. Only thing you're doing is making that defense even greater. But let you guys chime in on it, especially the one.
Devon, the floor is yours.
Yeah, look, I love that pick a lot. He's a great linebacker out of Notre Dame. He will be a great pair next to Cole Holcomb, who I see he's an underrated linebacker in the league right now. He comes up big on certain plays. He can tackle well. Just being that John Bostic, other than Cole Holcomb being there, John Bostic is getting up there in age. He's turning 30. Reuben Foster hasn't played it down since he's come to the team. Just a waste of a roster spot. So him coming in and making an instant impact as either going to be an inside linebacker or outside linebacker, it doesn't matter. I just know he's going to have – it's just going whatever position he's going to, he's going to be a great impact for us, as well as helping out that defensive front. And because like we have Khalid Hudson that is also, he could come in and – because he's more of a special teams guy right now, but he could come in this year and start making his impact on that outside linebacker position. He has some speed to him as well, but this is just going to add more to our already bolster team. Our secondary, we already addressed in free agency, don't really need to go as far as corners or safeties in the draft. In the early rounds, that can be a later round issue that can be addressed. But I like this pick a lot. It was either going to be him or Zavin Collins that I would have loved to have it number 19 or 16 or whatever pick we have going forward.
Yeah, so I really like this pick for the football team. I did consider Christian Darris here, but I know they have Cornelius Lucas, who played fairly well last year, stepping in at left tackle after Trent Williams was traded. I really think the Washington football team they really have a defense that really can grow. Owusu can play that joker role where he can, line up at safety, play the slot, or kind of line up in the box when needed. So I think he can come in and play that kind of Shaq Thompson role that Ron Rivera likes his linebackers to play, being very fast and physical going from sideline to sideline.
All right. Let's go to the 20th pick. And finally coming off the board is the Bears taking Devonta Smith. That would be a great addition for them to pair up with Allen Robinson out there in Chicago. They got Darnell Mooney. That would be a great receiving core to start off with for Andy Dalton or whoever's going to be their quarterback out there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so the fall for Devonta Smith ends. So the concern is, he's under 170 pounds. I don't think that's gonna, bode well for a lot of evaluators with him. But he's still a good player who can come into that offense. Matt Nagy can scheme for him to get open. He doesn't have the pressure of being the number one wide receiver immediately, which I think helps him tremendously. They've had Darnell Mooney, who came in and played really well. They have David Montgomery at running back. So I think it's a solid pick for him, and he goes into a good situation.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I know he would come in and be the wide receiver too, or he would be a depth pick because they did pick up Marquise Goodwin, a wide receiver that can take the top off of defense as well, coming into his veteran year. You have Darnell Mooney as well. He was a rookie who be mostly in the slot. I know that receiving core with Andy Dalton, they can make some noise if everybody on that receiving core does stay healthy. Marquise Goodwin, because he has had some injury issues before. If he can stay healthy, Devonta Smith, I can see him either starting at wide receiver 2 or, like I said, staying behind Goodwin and Mooney and just learning and growing as far as becoming a rotational player in that offense that's already grown as well.
All right. All right, moving to some of the postseason team, another postseason team. The Indianapolis Colts take Azeez Ojulari out of UGA. I love Azeez Ojulari. I love his potential. Can I be honest with you guys? I think Azeez Ojulari should have came out next year because I think he was just coming about. He might have been a top 10 guy next year. I think he has a lot of upside. I think the question is going to be, can he play linebacker, defensive end in this league? But going to the Colts is a great fit for him because the Colts need a pass rusher, but they really need a veteran that's going to coach him up out there. In my personal opinion, I don't know if Justin Houston is still out there in uh, Indianapolis, but I think he would be a good fit there. I guess it's just me from being a Georgia Bulldog fan. I think he should have played one more year, not even so much for our sake, but for his own sake. I think he could have been a much higher draft pick. I think he may need a full year to develop. But what do you guys think?
So I like the pick for Indianapolis with Azeez Ojulari. He had I think he had a really good season. I thought he had a really good bowl game. I know like some of the questions you were talking about, he did kind of struggle against Alabama just with the physicality of just that offensive line. I know he's on the lighter side, about 245 as a DN. So. But I think he can come in there. That's a top 5. That's a top defense, in the NFL. Darius Leonard has been very vocal. Guys coming in there, they're gonna come to work. And I think Azeez has the work mentality that he wants to get better. I think having a Justin Houston there would be helpful. But they have a lot of veterans on that defense who can coach them up and show them the ropes. I really like Frank Wright. There, I think he's doing a great job. John Ballard is a great GM. So that I think, the Colts get a great pick here.
Yeah, I like that. They do need some help with that line as they are getting a little older. I mean, they still had DeForest Buckner on that line as well. So it's they definitely could use the help of a rookie presence on that team and somebody that they can lock in long term to help boost their already established defense. Other than that, I mean, that's all I can really say about him. He's fast. He can get off the edge. His being on that lighter side could be a problem in that division, but I don't really see it being that much of a problem. I mean, look at Montez Sweat. He's a little underweight, but he also has the speed to back it up, and you saw the success he had this season. So I think that he'll be just okay in that Colts defense.
I like that comparison, though, of Montez Sweat that you just mentioned. But the next pick, the Titans selecting Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. His fall finally ends. I think that would be a great fit for him in Tennessee. Tennessee's been bolstering their defense. They got Bud Dupree out there. I know they got a couple of solid additions out there in Tennessee. I think that'd be a great addition. You lost Adoree Jackson, who really was very underwhelming out there in Tennessee. So getting you another guy to help that defense out would be great. What do you guys think?
So Tennessee is another team. I don't know what's going on down there. I know they released Adoree Jackson, I think for money purposes. There were some reports down there he wasn't taking his rehab seriously. He may have been mentally checked out. They obviously had the situation with Isaiah Wilson last year that didn't really work out either. And I think they also released their starting right tackle who actually played in front of Wilson last year as well, with Ryan Kelly, I believe is his name. So I don't know what's going on down there. But they did lose Malcolm Butler as well. And I think they lost I don't know if Desmond King came back. But they do need a cornerback with all those names. I mean, the Titans, had one of the best secondaries 2 years ago with including Logan Ryan was on that team. So they kind of got to, really just rebuild that room and that position. And I think Caleb Farley is a top 10 talent. He just has some injury concerns. I know the Titans are a team that takes more risks in the first round. They had Jeffrey Simmons, who had some character concerns, but he's been an amazing player, one of the players I really wanted in that draft. So getting Farley here is a high risk but high reward pick.
Yeah, I like that pick. They do need a replacement for Adoree Jackson, as he was pretty much their fastest corner on that team. And Caleb Farley could come in and be that physical and fast corner that they need to go up against, that that division. They got Paris Campbell. They got who else? They got Michael Pittman. They got T.Y. Hilton coming back. As far as Texans are concerned, they still have their receiving core that could be addressed in the draft as well, because the Texans just the Texans. The Jags, they do have DJ Chark, D.D. Westbrook still as well, so they will need help as far as the cornerback position in this draft. And Caleb Farley could be that guy to help boost their defense and be the long-term solution over there if he does get selected there. So I do like that pick.
All right, for the second time, the Jets are on the board. They're going to take Jalen Phillips out of Miami. You can't go wrong in New York. I don't have anything else to say about that. They need everything.
Yeah, so another player who has some medical concerns. I think that's going to be a theme within the draft. I think with the limited amount of information with medicals, usually that happens at the NFL Combine. So Phillips, just long story short, he retired at UCLA. He transferred to Miami. He had a really good second half of a year. He was a top recruit in his class of 2017. Dude was an athletic marvel. I think if he checks out, I think he could probably be the best pass rusher in this draft, potentially the best defensive player in this draft. So going to the Jets, where Robert Saleh is going to be running that San Francisco style defense. He has Carl Lawson. He has Quentin Williams. You can get another, young pass rusher in there that can, make some things happen. I like the first round for the Jets, in the new era for them.
Yeah, I do like Chris Collinsworth said he was probably the best defensive player in this draft. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's Chris Collinsworth. I do like this pick though. The Jets do need anything and everything on that team, and addressing the defense as well would be a good thing for them to do. They already addressed the quarterback position. Now addressing that front line would be also important. They do need pass rushers. As far as I'm concerned, any the best player approach to this draft would be the best thing for them to do. So that is a good where we're at this point right now in the draft as far as the picks are concerned. That would be the best player available.
I agree with that. The next pick is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he has him taking Christian Darris out of Virginia Tech. This is actually a surprise pick that you have taken for them. I do think they need help on that offensive line. But I would like to see what your thoughts is about why they're taking Christian Darris here.
So I know Darris has been a player who's kind of been all over the mock draft board. They need a left tackle, just point blank. They have to protect Ben Roethlisberger, who's going to be back there. Sorry about my background. But Steelers are kind of in a period of transition. They really need to protect whoever's going to be the running back there. I know they have talent at wide receiver, and some people are saying they need defense. But, they lost Villanueva. They lost Pouncey. DeCastro's older. I just think they're in a period of youth movement there. So hopefully whoever that Steelers fan was, I hope that helps them going forward, because they're going to have to, go against the likes of Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, whoever the Ravens are going to pick, wink, wink, and a couple picks. So good start for them. Good for the Steelers.
Yeah, they do need to
come up.
They need to address the offensive line first and foremost. Everything else is pretty much solid. They are going to need help with the pass rushers they have in that division. Christian Darris, for me, I would like him to be in Washington, but like a hometown pick. But if we do decide that we want to go the linebacker route, I'm okay with that. But Christian Darris is a solidified offensive tackle, and he will be. I'm not going to compare him to Trent Williams or nothing like that and say he's going to be the best tackle out this draft, but I will say he will be a significant player for years to come if the development is right.
He got Najee Harris going to the Steelers. I'm not sure. I'm starting to think that he may be early second rounder on Friday. He may end up being an early pick on Friday evening.
I am trying to. I've heard that rumor about Najee Harris. If you guys take Najee Harris in the first round, I just good luck, because y'all offensive line is bad, and the thing is, y'all hate the Browns, and I get it, but our defensive line is crazy right now, and we gonna kill Ben. We gonna kill him. You thought it was bad last year. We gonna kill him.
He gonna be retiring in mid-season.
Y'all better get Dwayne. Y'all better have Dwayne Haskins throwing the ball right now.
That's a nightmare.
The next pick, the second time.
Who pinged in? Somebody pinged.
Oh, let me see. Hold on. Let me see the next comment. Oh, man. Nick Green said that Connie's a bust.
And he go bust Ben Roethlisberger. And he go bust Ben Roethlisberger like a pinata.
The next team on the board is the Jaguars for the second time. This is the Jalen Ramsey pick. Trayvon Riggs from TCU to the Jaguars. They're another team that needed and everything, so I have nothing else to say about that. What do you guys think?
Trayvon Morig, he is probably the best safety to come out this draft. I would like this pick. They do need help addressing that secondary. They already got cornerbacks in free agency to help them. They got Shaq Griffin. They already have C.J. Henderson over there to be the cornerback to complement him. Safety is a concern. Trey Herndon, he's not going to get the job done. So I feel like Trayvon Moore coming over there would be a great help to their defense. More of a speed factor over there.
Yeah, Morgan is a solid pick here. I think he has a lot of range as a free safety. I think with them having C.J. Henderson, I forgot who their second corner is. My mistake, but I think he can come in and start immediately to help rebuild that Jaguar safety area that used to be a strength for them a couple years ago, but due to just trading and free agency, that's become a weakness. But I like Morik here for the Jaguars.
All right. Let's see. Now the Cleveland Browns are on the board, and you have them taking Asante Samuel Jr. out of Florida State. Let me say this. If they add Asante Samuel to that already talented defense, they really don't have a lot of weaknesses in that defense at this moment. I think that would make that secondary even scarier. You got to add him out there with Denzel Ward. I hope to see Greedy tighten up and get his act together out there in Cleveland, but adding all that young talent in Cleveland, that defense is just getting better and better, even if you add Asante Samuel there. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna let Armand take over there.
Yeah. So Asante Samuel, he's a feisty corner. He was very productive at Florida State on a team the program just went down. I think there's a lot of uncertainty around Greedy Williams right now. We don't know how his shoulder is going to be. It's been an issue. He hasn't played, and when he's played, he hasn't been great. So you need a guy who can come in that can kind of be the final puzzle piece to the secondary. We got John Johnson in the offseason. We got Grant Delpit rehabbing, coming back. We got Ronnie Harrison, who's the other safety who's doing well. We signed Clowney. Clowney, he has underperformed, but he's coming in for a specific role. We signed Malik Jackson. We got Tack McKinley. So just building out the puzzle. I know you don't like Tack. Nate, the Browns are the Browns. Yeah, everybody was saying that. You asked Juju Smith-Schuster about that too. But yeah, I think this is a pivotal pick. But I think the Browns could possibly. I think more people are thinking they're going to trade down, which I would be open to. But I also think this might be an opportunity to trade up. I like Caleb Farley a lot, and we need a bigger cornerback who has some physicality to him because Denzel Ward has been getting hurt as well. I'm really excited about this season. I hope whoever we can get can make an impact.
Yeah, Asante Samuel going there. It would be a steal for you guys as well because they already have him highly going to the Saints to help. Yeah, I ain't nobody. Hey,
he tried to say Corvette.
Yeah. Keep going. The depth there with Asante Samuel coming in, with Greedy Williams always being hurt, and Denzel Ward also being an injury risk would be great for them. Asante Samuel will come in. He could also be a long-term solution for you guys if you guys decide to let Greedy go because of those injuries, or if all three of them stay healthy, Asante Samuel could be that cornerback too, and then you move either Greedy or Denzel into the slot, and then that's lockdown city right there. You know what I'm saying? So, well, that's if they play how they're supposed to play, then you have the lockdown city. But I like that pick for them a lot. They already have help with their linebackers and their defensive line that's been addressed already. So, yeah, I like that pick.
All right, the Baltimore Ravens are their first of their second pick now of the first round. Have them taking Joseph Ossai, the defensive end out of Texas. I think it's a great pick. You got Calais Campbell getting older. You got to address that pass rush because Judon and Yannick are both gone from Baltimore. So I like that pick for the Baltimore Ravens. What do you guys think?
So Osai, he has a great story. I think he's from Nigeria. He came over to University of Texas. You originally played soccer before getting a football scholarship, but the guy's relentless, man. He's like a pest. He's high motor. He's athletic. He needs some reforming a little bit. I think going to the Ravens is the perfect situation for him. I definitely think he's going to be a successful pass rusher. Gotta replace Judon and Ngakoue. But yeah, the Ravens right now, I think that gap between them and the Browns is starting to close, especially with that Orlando Brown trade. So, but a good pick here for them nonetheless.
Yeah, I like that pick, but like you said, that Orlando Brown trade, I feel like they would address that in the draft, maybe with this pick now being that they just traded him away. Either that or, like we discussed last podcast, they might go wide receiver in the first round to help out Hollywood and give Lamar some more weapons. But if they do decide to go Joseph Ossai in this first round, I wouldn't be opposed to that either. It's like they have a plethora of what they can do as far as picks that they want to go and get.
All right. One of the next teams, one of the teams we just recently spoke about, the New Orleans Saints taking Jamin Davis out of Kentucky. I think the Saints got to address their linebacking core this offseason. You got to get you some linebackers there because that's one of their weaknesses in New Orleans. Mario Davis is getting older. I don't really trust Kiko Alonso and those guys there. I think they're decent, but they're not the guys that you want to have for your future. So if you're the Saints, you really want to get some help on that linebacking core. This is another team who you could possibly see take like a quarterback or something like that in the first round. They're kind of in one of those tricky positions, but I like that pick for the Saints. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so this kind of makes me sad because I wish Greedy Williams was healthy and providing because Jamin Davis is a baller, man. Dude 6'4", playing inside linebacker, man, and he can roam sideline to sideline. I think the Saints, like you said, Nate, the linebacker room kind of needs an overhaul. I know they got Zach Bond, Demario Davis has become a Pro Bowl player there, but I also think that bringing in a younger linebacker who can kind of take over the reins and learn the ropes would be very helpful. The Saints are kind of in a different position now. They have still a strong defense, but there's a lot of uncertainty of how Taysom Hill is going to perform, as well as Jameis Winston. So getting Jamin Davis here is actually, I think, one of the better picks in the first round.
Yeah, I like Jamin Davis, but as far as their cornerback situation is concerned, they lost Janoris Jenkins. We don't know what Marshawn Lattimore's situation is. He just got arrested, so I don't know how that's going to play into going into this draft going forward if they want to address that position first, because that just every other team at division receiving core is deadly, or not deadly, but they do have more of an upside than the Saints do. So it's they might want to address they can either address the linebacker position first. If they do, Jamin Davis is a good pick for them, but they do need to address that quarterback position and if needed, that wide receiver position as well.
Okay. The next pick on the board, the Green Bay Packers taking Eric Stokes out of UGA. I would love that pick for the Green Bay Packers because Green Bay need to get another corner opposite side of Jair Alexander. Kevin King had a rough NFC Championship game, and adding speed to that secondary would just be dangerous because You're going to pair him up with Eric Stokes, and you can potentially, Jair, you can potentially work with whoever you want to with Kevin King. That's going to be fun to watch out there in Green Bay. They would love that. Would be a luxury pick if you're the Green Bay Packers. What do you guys think?
Yeah, so I like Eric Stokes here. I initially, before his pro day, I didn't have him in the first round. I know he kind of had some struggles at Georgia, but I think from an upside standpoint, I think he works out here well. I know the Packers like the long, slender corners. I think Kevin King is going to be on the way out after next season. So really helping that secondary that is very strong with Alexander, Darnell Savage, really is a good pick here.
Yeah, either like Eric Stokes or Greg Newsome. If he doesn't get picked early in that round, I like him there. As far as their corners are concerned, they do need help. Opposite side, Jair Alexander, like y'all said, Kevin King is not going to be a long-term answer. Kadar Holman, he's still there. He's not going to be a long-term answer. They need somebody that's going to be fast, physical, and can be a complement to Jair Alexander. And if they have to move, Jair Alexander could potentially move up to that cornerback one spot. Saying that their salary cap situation isn't going to be the best in the upcoming years. There's going to be a lot of guys that need those contract extensions, and if they need to make some moves, they need some depth there. I feel like this would be a good fit for him. Coming in, already being contenders in the NFC to get a chip early on in his career would be a good boost for his resume as well. And I really don't see him having anything but success in Green Bay. Already running 4.29 at the pro day, that's blazing speed, especially at the corner position.
Okay, he said the Packers also need linebacker help. That is another option they could definitely go in this draft. That could be a second round option for them too, because a lot of the guys are probably not falling in the first round at linebacker. So the linebacker depth is going to be crazy the second round. So that's going to be this round to really target linebackers. But since we talked about the Bills and the Dolphins, I'm just going to Bills and Dolphins, Bills and the Buccaneers. I'm just going to roll over their picks that you named. You got the Bills taking Jason O. That kind of addressed the issue we were talking about earlier. And you have Joe Tyron going to the Buccaneers, which is another addition that you talked about. So we just decided to go ahead and skip those two teams over. And last but not least, this would have been the Chiefs pick, but yesterday with the Orlando Brown trade happened. Do you have the Ravens taking Tevin Jenkins at 31 to address that offensive line issue that they were just going to deal with? But as we mentioned before, they have so much talent in this draft at offensive tackle that they can easily replace it. But I do like Tevin Jenkins going to the Baltimore Ravens. He will be a immediate addition to where on the other side of Ronnie Stanley. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Go ahead, Devon.
Now I was saying that's what I was addressing earlier. Was saying that they would need to address that position. Saying that they just traded off Orlando Brown, so that is a good fit for them, and he will be, like you said, an immediate impact.
Yeah, so there's been some talk that Tevin Jenkins is exclusively a right tackle, so I think that drops him down on the board a little bit. But I think having him go to the Ravens where he's exclusively going to be the right tackle when Ronnie Stanley returns, I think is helpful. More importantly, you got to protect Lamar Jackson because now you have a potential hole not only at right tackle, but you lost I think they lost their center. And obviously I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they have to protect Lamar, especially in a contract, year where they need to determine how much money they're going to pay him. I know that some people have been clamoring for a wide receiver here, but I think those are immediate needs that need to be addressed with the Ravens.
And what you got to say about these guys?
Oh yeah, I already said. I was saying that they, that was a good fit for them. They addressing that pick that they need since they lost Orlando, and he needs to be an impact for them. They need more better protection on that line. They can't keep running the ball. Defense is going to catch on that, or not catch on, but they're going to better prepare for Lamar using his legs. So having that bolstered offensive line, they can have hold that pass rush so he can pass the ball down the field and get his passing numbers up rather than just running the ball. Being that they were dead last in the league in passing, so they need to get that passing game, pass blocking.
All right. And that concludes the mock draft of the whole first round. And that's going to conclude the show. But before we go, I want to tell this to everyone that's tuned in. Thursday and Friday, we will be on here doing the first round and Friday's round 2 and round 3. If you, and I don't know if you read the just description on Facebook, for everyone on Twitch and YouTube, I haven't said anything about this on here, but if you want to chime in on your favorite team when they pick, after their pick, let us know. You can hop on here. We'll get your live commentary. Keep it clean. That's all I say. Keep it clean. I would love to get your commentary on what your team do in the draft. But again, we will be on here Thursday and Friday doing live draft coverage. So we appreciate everybody that tuned in. We have been at this mock draft since about late February. We finally got it done. So again, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you sometime next week. You guys got anything to say before we head off?
Oh, no, just thank y'all for the continuous love and support y'all guys are giving us. Thank you for the people commenting. It gives us great content, great commentary to add to our show already. Gives us stuff to go back and forth with. And also, it's kind of funny just seeing what you guys have to say. Not saying that you guys aren't making any good points, but it's just like the humorous comments that I made. It's fun to get with.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite events of the year. I'm very, very excited for the draft. I'm very, very excited that it's in my hometown. So I will be there Thursday evening live to see the mocking of the picks. So I may hop on just to give you guys the live atmosphere of what's going on. But definitely thankful to be on the podcast with Nate and Devon. And also interacting with your supporters. I hope that your teams make picks that make you happy. If not, like they said, keep it clean and keep it short.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in again. We will see you on draft night. You guys have a great afternoon. Thank you once again for tuning in.